Let's get to some headlines from across the state of Texas, Mallory, and we will start in the college ranks. Not a whole lot going on in the college ranks right now. Texas put up an Instagram post where they're giving all of their players Lamborghinis. So
that was I did see that.
That's
that
a
was
thing.
insane.
That's a thing that's happening.
That's a thing nowadays.
That's a thing that's happening. Anyway, but one of the things I did want to touch on is that the 2025 College Football Hall of Fame ballot is out. The College Football Hall of Fame, of course, based in Atlanta, is going to be doing their voting, I believe, over the next couple of months for all of their members. I am not a voting member of the College Football Hall of Fame. Mike Craven might be. I need to check on that.
Yeah, I'm not. I think he might be.
You can find the whole ballot on TexasFootball.com. We've got it linked there. But there are some headliners that I want to make sure we mention. One of them, I think probably the biggest headliner here would be Graham Harrell, Texas Tech quarterback, and Dave Campbell's Texas football cover boy. He is up for a spot in the Texas high school, or the College Football Hall of Fame, as is Texas defensive back Michael Huff. Those are probably the two biggest headliners. But there's a number of other ones that I want to make sure we mention. Byron Hanspard, the running back from Texas Tech, is a spectacular playmaker, and I think worthy of going in the Hall of Fame at some point. He is on the ballot, as is Jarrett Dillard, the outstanding Rice wide receiver who really put them on the map in the early part of the last decade. Jarrett Dillard is on there for Rice, as well as SMU defensive back Russell Carter and TCU running back Kenneth Davis are on there as well. On the coaches ballot, some familiar names from Texas. Jim Carlin, the Texas Tech head coach, who was the three-time Southwest Conference Coach of the Year and won the 1973 National Coach of the Year in 5 seasons at Tech. Pete Cawthorn Sr., who coached at Texas Tech as well, led them to its first Cotton Bowl and a 10-0 record in 1938. Larry Coker is probably best known. He's probably, to be real honest, he's probably on the ballot for what he did at Miami, winning a national championship. But he of course did launch the UTSA program, so he's got a special place in the hearts of folks down there in San Antonio. And then Tommy Tuberville's on the ballot. Take that for what it's worth. The non-FBS, as far as non-FBS players are concerned, UT Arlington defensive end Bruce Colley is on there, led them to a 1981 Southland Conference title and played 6 seasons in the NFL. This is a guy there's 3 other guys on the non-FBS that I think are worth mentioning. One of them is Tim Flanders, the Sam Houston running back. When I tell you that I think Tim Flanders would be, if I only had one pick to go in the College Football Hall of Fame, I think I'd go with Tim Flanders. This guy led the Southland Conference in rushing 4 years in a row. This dude was the quintessential Bearcat from 2010 to 2013. This guy needs to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. In my opinion, the story of FCS football is not complete without Tim Flanders. Tim Flanders needs to be in the Hall of Fame. There, I'm off my soapbox. Also on the ballot, a friend of Dave Campbell's Texas football and a personal friend of mine, Claude Mathis, the Texas State running back, who before he was winning back-to-back titles as the DeSoto head coach, he was a back-to-back Southland Conference Player of the Year.
What a resume.
He's their all-time leading rusher there still at Texas State, 4691 rushing yards. And then also Michael Strahan from Texas Southern, the defensive lineman. He's already an NFL Hall of Famer, a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Probably should be in the College Football Hall of Fame, I would say. He was a 2-time SWAC Defensive Player of the Year when he was at Texas Southern. He's your all-time leading sack artist with 41.5 sacks. Anyway, also Steve Moore. Steve Moore is a name you may not know, but the former Trinity head coach holds the SCAC record for most wins in conference play with 186 wins. So he is on the ballot as well there at Trinity. Anyway, the Texas is all over the College Football Hall of Fame ballot. You can check that out, TexasFootball.com. Remarkably, Mallory, we have 2 Texas high school football coaching changes to talk about. Today is June 10th. Okay, now these happened last week, so it was in the first week of June, but it was still in June. We'll start out there at Lubbock Estacado. You may remember that Lubbock Estacado has been looking for a new head coach since Will Blaylock left to go be the head coach at Cy Ranch. And I can go through this whole thing again, but basically, McKinney came open when Marcus Shavers left. He's now at North Forty, right? McKinney went and hired Nate Leonard to be the head coach from New Braunfels Canyon, right? New Braunfels Canyon went and hired Sean McAuliffe, who was the head coach at Cy Ranch. Cy Ranch went and hired the head coach Cy Ranch hired the head coach at Lubbock Estacado, Will Blaylock, to be the next head coach, which left Lubbock Estacado open. We have now closed the loop. as Wichita Falls City View offensive coordinator Eric Ward is going to be the next head coach at Lubbock Estacado. He is probably, there are folks who are getting their guns up out there as Texas. He's, of course, best known as being a 3-time All Big 12 wide receiver at Texas Tech and a star there at Texas Tech. One of the most decorated receivers in their history. He's a Wichita Falls Rider guy. He's going to get his first opportunity to be a head coach now, and he started his coaching career at his alma mater at Rider, but he's also had stops at a few other places, but most recently he was the offense coordinator at City View. You can read all about that on TexasFootball.com, but yes, Lubbock Estacado has their guy, and is a guy who is very famous in Lubbock. Eric Ward is going to be the next head coach at Lubbock Estacado. And then way out west in El Paso Bel Air has been looking for a head coach there at East Leda ISD, and it appears they have found their guy as they're going to be hiring El Paso Riverside head coach Gary Rakoder to be their next head coach. Eric Scoggin left after 2 seasons to become the offense coordinator at Parkland. There's a lot of like Sun City like movement this year. Rakoder has been at Riverside, which is his alma mater, for the last 5 seasons, and he's really turned them around in a big way. He's been a real turnaround artist for them. They're hoping to do that the same thing with the Highlanders there at Bel Air, as El Paso Bel Air has apparently, according to Matt Stepp, found their guy in Gary Rakoder to be the next head coach at El Paso Bel Air. Finally, Mallory, what are you doing in a couple of weeks? Maybe end of June?
I think I'll be in College Station.
You're going to come to College Station for a minute?
I am,
Yeah,
yes.
that's right. As we're going to be down there at College Station for the state 7-on-7 tournament. Got big coverage ready to roll out for you here at TexasFootball.com. But we still got to know which teams are making it to the state 7-on-7 tournament. We have it was a big weekend of 7-on-7 state qualifiers across the state. In Division 1 at the Westlake SQT, San Antonio Brandeis and Austin Anderson. Keep an eye on Austin Anderson. Have qualified there out of the Austin Westlake SQT. At the Flower Mound Marcus state qualifying tournament, the 3 teams that got in there, three teams, Frisco Wakeland, Lovejoy, and Argyle will all be there at the state 7-on-7 tournament in College Station. At the Grand Oaks SQT, it was Conroe Grand Oaks winning their own tournament, as well as Willis. Willis, of course, big questions about them is what they're going to do to replace DJ Lagway. We will get our first glimpse down there at state 7-on-7 as Willis has qualified for the state tournament. At the College Station SQT, College Station, always a threat down there to win kind of home field advantage. College Station always very, very good at 7-on-7. They qualify, as does Buda Johnson. Buda Johnson qualifies for the state tournament. At the Tyler SQT, Terrell and Mesquite Horn qualified for the state 7-on-7 tournament. They are through to the state tournament as well after winning the Tyler SQT. Is that right? Yeah. As well as, let's see, that is replaced. At the Katie Tompkins SQT, Richmond Randall makes it to the state qualifying tournament, as does Houston Strake Jesuit. They are through to the state tournament. The Aldine SQT, I believe at MacArthur. Manville is through, no surprise, big time talent there at Manville. And Humble will make it to the state qualifying, or to the state tournament. Down in Sharyland, the Snake Pit SQT, love that.
Love that.
PSJA, Laredo United and PSJA North are heading to the state tournament after qualifying at the Snake Pit SQT. Down in Division 2, the Big Country SQT. Jim Ned is through. They beat Brownwood in the play-in, as well as Lubbock Christian. Lubbock Christian, I believe, might be the first or second private school to qualify in this year's tournament. They are through after being Levelland in the final, as well as Mineral Wells. Making it for just the 3rd time in program history. They beat Stephenville in the final to make it there. Mineral Wells is going to College Station after winning after qualifying there. The Salina SQT, Salina is through, as is Frisco Panther Creek. Those 2 teams are making it there. And then down in Division 3, the Abilene SQT was a big, beefy SQT, but Brady and Jacksboro through. Brady's a team that's always very tricky at 7-on-7. And then Dangerfield SQT. It was, Dangerfield is through, as well as Gilmer Harmony is through. Those are the teams that made it out of the East. And at the Ganado SQT, Ganado and Wallace Brazos are through, as well as Rosebud Lot SQT, Bartlett and Hearn are through. Hearn doesn't have to travel far, just down the road. Good Chicken Express there as well. And then Sonora SQT, it was Miles and Ira Ann that made it through to the Division 3 bracket of the state 7-on-7 tournament. You can find all the teams that have qualified. You don't need to remember all those. We're going to have big blowout coverage of the Texas State 7-on-7 tournament coming up here at the end of the month. But those are the teams that made it this weekend in the state qualifying tournaments at 7-on-7.
And
Good.
A little side note, Step went to the Flower Mound Marcus SQT this week, and he caught up with your boy, Antonio Wiley,
My boy.
Trey Bryant, and then Jerry Edwards.
Oh, cool.
So those are all up on YouTube right now. Go ahead and check them out.
Go check out Antonio Wiley's interview. Go check that out extra hard.
He rocks.
Because
they all rock, but yes.
Cowboy fight never dies. That's all the headlines from across the state.